of the world. Now listen, the prophet Ezekiel is describing a nuclear attack against Israel when she is living in peace and prosperity. In other words, the Israel that's described here, that's prophesied here, okay. Is it something I said? Don't turn me off. Don't shut me down. Never mind. Not only will the attack come when Israel has believed and is deceived that she lives in security, but it will happen when she's living in prosperity economically. Did you know that recently Israel has become one of the most prosperous nations on earth? For those of you who went to Israel with us last year, do you remember when we were in the bus driving through the various neighborhoods and we would see these houses that were partially built, but they weren't completed, yet there was nobody working on them? And so we asked David, our tour guide, what's up with this? Were you guys hit with the subprime mortgage, crisis too, or what? He said, no, not at all. You see, we won't borrow money and build a house unless we know we have the money to build that house. So we're not mortgaging the building of this real estate, you see. So they pay as they go. The reason why you don't see anybody working on it, they're waiting until they have the money to complete the next phase of the construction project on this house. And see, the banks there won't lend 200% of the value of the house, which is an inflated value to begin with. Don't get me started. That might be a sore subject for many, but they will only lend a certain percentage of the value of that property in order to enable the owner to build that property, you see. So you won't find this mortgage crisis in Israel. So financially, Israel is doing very well. And you might be surprised to know that, in fact, Netanyahu's speech to the UN General Assembly, he mentioned something. I don't know if the international community caught it or not. Sorry. But he said that Israel has played a major part in the technological advancement of the world. Do you know how invested Microsoft is in Israel? You know those little SIMS cards you have in your cell phones? You know where that came from? Israel. Not Palestine. Israel. The Palestinians didn't come up with that. They are my own people. They did not come up with that. Israel came up with it. And billions of dollars annually in Israel, economically, is prospering this nation, not just in the technological arena, but across the board. Did you know that Israel is like it was on Countdown to Eternity, aren't they the second largest exporter of certain goods, fruits? It's the land flowing with milk and honey. And this is exactly what Ezekiel's prophecy is all about. See, Ezekiel 36 and 37 talk about Israel returning to the land. They buy up this abandoned land. They didn't drive out any Palestinians because there were no Palestinians there. The Palestinians bailed a long time ago because of the malaria-infested swamps. And so what did they do? They formed these kibbutzes and they started planting trees, and it changed the whole ecology of the land. And it was in a fulfillment of exactly what Ezekiel said would happen. They would be gathered and they would return to the land. They would return as a nation. No other nation has ever done that. Again, a prophecy that was fulfilled with 100% accuracy. So now that once they're back in the land, they're going to be attacked. And when they're attacked, they're going to be living in extreme prosperity, the likes of which would be the envy of the world. That's why they're going to come and take this spoil. Did you know that the Israeli shekel, their currency, has become one of the highest valued currencies in the world? Even more so than the euro and even our collapsing dollar. From Haaretz, 60 years of economic prosperity, the headline reads. Here's an excerpt from that article. Very few countries have managed to grow and prosper so quickly as 60 years, from a standard of living of 3,100 per person in 1948, which is when they returned as a nation, to an to today's 25,000. From a country of 600,000 residents to 7.3 million, and from an orange exporter to an international high-tech power. Over the past 6 decades, Israel's economy has completely changed from a socialist state control, I'm back with you now. From a socialist state-controlled to a modern Western free market economy. Again from Haaretz, the headline, shekel continues to soar against dollar, euro. The United States dollar continued to depreciate against the new Israeli shekel Friday, pushing the representative currency exchange rate down. This is an over 11-year low. The last time the greenback saw these levels was January 1997. The euro also lost ground against the shekel, dropping to a 5-year low, its lowest level since January of 2003. In other words, Israel is living in a place of prosperity now. And the prophet Ezekiel describes how that Israel will be so prosperous that this alliance of Muslim nations will try to capture their, Ezekiel says, spoil. Now, that's not a word we use much these days. You know, I don't come home after I get my paycheck and say, honey, I brought home the spoil. What? Dinner spoiled? No, I brought home the spoil. No. In other words, it's to capture that prosperity, to get that wealth. And so they're going to come. One commentator has suggested that all you have to do is take the word spoil, drop the SP, and you get oil. Oh, really? Oh, interesting. So do you mean that it's possible that Israel could be sitting on an oil supply? You betcha. I believe so, and I believe the Bible may even indicate and actually prophesy so. It is the land flowing with milk and honey and, well, oil. Very possibly. And I believe it's very possible that the spoil they want to capture and the plunder they want to seize may have just recently been discovered. WorldNet Daily ran this article earlier this year. Israel finds huge natural gas reserve. Top official hails historic moment that could transform nation's future. Noble Energy, a New York Stock Exchange listed company, has discovered and estimated more than, and by the way, it was increased because they realized that what they found was even larger than what they had previously estimated. But at the time, it was 3 trillion with a T cubic feet of natural gas in 3 high-quality reservoirs drilled in the company's Tamar #1 well in the Mediterranean Sea, which is about 56 miles off the Israeli northern port of Haifa. A huge deep water natural gas find off the coast of Israel promises to be a boon to the Jewish state's economy, as well as a stimulus, nice choice of words, to other developers searching for offshore oil and natural gas in the Mediterranean. The find is significant for those who believe the Bible indicates Israel is sitting on a massive oil reserve that would reshape the geopolitical structure of the Middle East. One Bible commentator suggested that it is possible that Israel is not only sitting on a huge natural gas reserve, and by the way, where you find natural gas, close in proximity, you find oil. Some oil companies are now in Israel drilling based on what the Bible said way back in Genesis. There seems to be this prophecy when, before Israel died and his 12 sons, who would become the 12 tribes of Israel, gave them their, blessing, if you will, or curse. And in those blessings, it's believed that the real estate in Israel, the land in Israel that was given to the 12 sons, based on the prophecy may actually contain